So in the last episode of Chi Life, I was just coming out of self-isolation and enjoying some of the small, simple freedoms of now being in lockdown. And at that time, I think I did say that I thought I would start getting back to a more normal schedule and more normal content for the vlogs. And that was over a month ago. This is the first new video on Chi Life since then. And the plain and simple reason why I haven't posted any before now is I've just been too busy. There has been a lot going on and a lot to deal with. So this episode is just going to be a bit of an update about what I have been doing over the past month. And after that, now I'm thinking we're going to start to get back to a more normal routine. So one of the small things, because I really have been busy and, you know, things have been unsettled in many ways, and just sort of coping with that. So finally today, I actually unpacked my bags and put my clothes into a cupboard. So that's going to make things a little bit easier, a little bit more accessible for me. So anyway, I've got a few things to show you and talk about, so I'm going to head out somewhere else now. Okay, so just around the corner from where I am staying at my sister's house, there is, so it's just a regular suburban street, and then there is this lovely patch of bush, or well, we call it bush in New Zealand, probably elsewhere you would call it forest. And we're going to go inside here. So if you have been following some of the other things that I have been doing, because it's not that I haven't been making videos, I've been making lots of videos, and if you go to the Long White Cloud Qigong channel, you'll see a lot of those there. So I think I can put up cards that will link you to that. If not, I'll put a link to that below and you can see some of the videos that I've been putting up. You will have seen some things that I've been working on, and one of the things that I managed to do was I have made a Qigong for Immunity course, and that was something I wanted to do. I was cautious about it to begin with, because so many people were putting out different things for immunity, and I really feel that some of them were just trying to capitalize on the situation. Some of them were maybe, a lot of them were maybe overselling things, you know, acting like there was a magic movement or something that, you know, was the solution to people's problems. And also some were just, you know, as part of that, feeding into the fear that people had, and I didn't want to do that, and I did talk about this a little bit in one of the previous vlogs. But given that people have such an interest in the topic right now, and legitimately it's useful to do some practices to strengthen your immunity, if that is a particular concern, I did want to put something out, but I wanted it to be a bit more substantial than a lot of the other things that people had been doing, so that it would teach not just one movement or something like that, or not just one magical routine, but yes, teach some routines, teach some movements, but also some principles, so that people could gain, you know, some practical, some real understanding of how their body works, how their energy works, and how that relates to immunity. And I think I succeeded in doing that. And if you have seen those, different camera angle of course, but you might recognize this spot here. This is where I filmed some of the videos. But if you have seen some of those videos, you might notice something else. Can you hear all that road noise? It's really quite loud, and I wanted to have the videos at a good quality, because again, I didn't want this to be something just taking advantage of the current situation, but rather that something that would be useful to people for years to come. You know, people who are wanting to see how Qigong applies to immunity and really understand it. And so yeah, so part of the whole lockdown thing has meant working around different restrictions, and I wanted a nice place in nature to make videos, and this fits the bill visually, but not so much sound wise. So I did what I could with this and made videos that I could then voice over, and that worked okay. But there were other videos that I wanted to also talk during the video, and there's no way, like, the sound would have been terrible if I had to try to record it here. So to do that, I found another spot of bush, which is like a 45-minute walk away on the other side of a lake. So, and that's what I had to do, go back and forth there, so 45 minutes each way, and of course the weather's got to be right, the light has to be right. If someone walks through the shot, then you've got to start again and stuff like that. So I had to go back and forth there for different things, and then I managed to do a few shots indoors and put it all together that way. So a few challenges putting it together. And the reason why I walked, you think 45-minute walk, why didn't you just drive? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, as I've mentioned previously, I was in the process of leaving New Zealand, so I don't have a car here. And two, as part of the conditions of the lockdown that we've been under, the only reason you were supposed to go out to drive was possibly to go to buy groceries or to go to the doctor. You weren't really supposed to drive anywhere for anything else. So even though I was going to the same place, I kept with that and just walked. Yeah, so challenging, but I did manage to get that done. So I will put some kind of link, again, either a card up here or a link in the description. If you haven't seen that course, you can check it out. I think it's pretty good. I've had really good feedback from people about it, and the practices are really nice practices. There is a 50% off promotion on it at the moment, which I think is going to run through to the end of the week or something like that, so I'll put that in the link below. So one of the other things that has been keeping me busy is I have been continuing with some live stream Qigong sessions. I think I had started those already while I was still in self-isolation, but I've been keeping on doing those, 3 of them a week, and at the moment those are completely free to anyone who wants to tune in. You can find the details of whenever the next ones are on the Long White Cloud Qigong website, so I'll put a link to where you can find that as well. It's just on Zoom, and those have been really interesting. There's a lot more that goes into them than just the class, of course, because I have been putting recordings up, and we've got to edit them and make a thumbnail and put that up and stuff like that. So those are on the Long White Cloud Qigong YouTube channel again. But it's been interesting to work with that format and to teach in a live, not exactly live setting, or live over the internet setting. And so I'm still experimenting with the format a little bit. I think it's got a little bit further to go to get to a place, where I think I want it to be in terms of delivering the content, delivering the benefits in the way that I think is most useful for people. But this has been a great opportunity to try doing that, and lots of people have tuned in and enjoyed them, which has been great. But it has also been quite challenging again in many ways with the lockdown conditions, because I've been doing them from the little room that I'm staying in, which is, I'm very grateful for, fantastic that I've been able to do that, but not ideal in terms of using it as a studio for filming things. So I guess it's one of those things with these lockdown conditions, everyone just making the most, doing the best they can with the circumstances they find themselves in, whatever that may be. But things are starting to change. In New Zealand, we are starting to open up some of the restrictions. So we just moved from what they were calling level 4 now to level 3, which is essentially still lockdown. if anything, well, again, the restrictions have been so different in different parts of the world. If anything, what we're doing now is still, it's kind of going to the level of lockdown that has been, you know, the height of lockdown for a lot of other countries. But then of course there have been other countries where, you know, their lockdown has been much stricter. For example, other than when I was in self-isolation, I've been able to go out and walk, you know, whenever I like, as long as I don't get too close to anyone. So, you know, that's been very nice. Certainly glad to be somewhere I've been able to do that rather than literally get stuck inside for the whole time. So this has been, I guess, you know, well, it's kind of become a bit of a running joke about what this level of lockdown means in New Zealand. That it's level 4, so basically it's level 3 is level 4, but with KFC. And that's one of the big changes here. You can see all the cars lining up. There's been a lot of excitement. It's not just KFC. Any restaurant can now be open as long, but no dine-in. So, and they have to do sort of a contactless pickup or delivery service. So you don't come in touch with anyone there. And for a lot of people, that's really the only practical difference for them. Because other than that, they're still staying at home. The restrictions on their movement is basically the same. Not much has changed. But it is more than that. You know, if you have a look, you can probably tell by the road noise. But if you have a look around here, there are, oh, here we go. Here go the cars. It's not exactly like the road is crowded, but there are so many more cars out and about now as on the roads, and that's because a lot of people are able to get back to work. So previously, people working in construction and things like that weren't allowed to work, even you know, just didn't matter. But now, as long as they can stay apart from each other and, you know, be distanced from each other, that they can get back to work. Also, online retail has opened back up. Up until now, it was only essential items you could buy on online retail. Now you can buy anything on online retail and things like that. So things are starting to get moving, even at level 3. It's still kind of locked down, but yeah, there is definitely more happening. So it is starting to make things easier. You know, in terms of what I'm wanting to do, of course, major change, because I'm in New Zealand when I was planning to be on the other side of the world, and I don't really have the setup that I was hoping to create to work on the new course material and things like that. But it is going to be easier for me to at least start on that soon. For example, I could buy, I really need some studio lights so that I can shoot indoors and have a good quality of video there. And I could order those online at the moment. But we're actually hoping that we might actually have further easing of restrictions soon, which would mean that I can actually go into a store and see them before I buy them, which would be quite useful as well. So I'm hoping to be able to do that soon and move forward with the restructuring and the creating of new course material and things like that. So I'm hoping, I'm feeling like as well, this time now, as the lockdown starts to ease, it definitely is time to get back to normal even more. Up until now, it's been really just making the best of whatever I can do, and I'm sure this is the same for, you know, most people, making the best that they could of the situation. But as things start to ease, it's more, you know, it's more doable to actually get back to a more normal routine. And you know, and move ahead with the certainly with my projects that I want to work on. So this time, I think we will get back to a normal schedule and normal programming content on the vlog. So I think that's certainly most of my update. I guess one other thing you've probably noticed, this beard, it's getting pretty bushy. So my plan originally was that I would have it until the end of lockdown. Quite a few people have liked it though, and you know, it's fun to do something different, But with it getting so bushy, you know, I figure once we come out of level 3 into level 2, that's the end of lockdown. Again, that could be as soon as a week away. I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I potentially keep it, or does it go? If I keep it, I'm going to have to figure out some grooming for it, because it's going to get unsightly if I don't do something to groom it. And it's been fun, but I don't know, I might just shave it off as well. Anyway, big general update, not too much specific to Qigong, more just what's going on with me and what's been going on with some of the Qigong things, with the live streams and the course and things like that. We're going to be back to normal programming soon, normal content soon, so if that's more your thing, you can look forward to that in the upcoming videos, and I look forward to seeing you in one of those soon.